do you anticipate players being back allowed in the facility on Wednesday?
Yes.
This is obviously the first in-season coronavirus cases for your team. Describe how your team being affected with coronavirus impacts preparation for this week.
I think this is just an unusual season all the way around. Our guys have done a great job handling all the twists and turns that can come with it, along with all the other teams across the league. And so this week's no different. You know, our focus is on preparing to win a game on Sunday, and we won't let anything detract from that.
So how do you shuffle the schedule now? Do you move stuff around too? How do you do things differently, or do you have to kind of go day to day, morning to morning?
Just a couple tweaks, virtual meeting wise, but you can still be on the field for the same allotted time, and so we'll still get all that work done the right way. Again, we did a whole off season kind of similar to the virtual stuff, and feel very comfortable with all the things that we can accomplish that way. So again, there's no concern over losing anything.
Coach, in this division, very physical, AFC North, when you think about your time in Los Angeles, what's different about this division compared to the one that you were in?
Both very good divisions, and there are some differences, but really good football teams from top to bottom. And if you don't come to work and bring a complete game every Sunday, then it's going to be a tough battle on those days. So again, two really good divisions, really good football teams. A lot of championships played for, a lot of divisions won by all the teams in both divisions, and that's the fun part about playing in this division. You're going against the best every week, and we like it.
Coach, do you think the virus is contained? Do you anticipate no more issues after these two players that were involved?
We feel good about how we've handled the entire process, and our communication with the league has been great. And so, again, we just move forward today, and we know that these next 8 weeks are going to be a challenge for the entire league. We just have to be willing to be flexible.
The timeline for Fred was 10 days. Is that correct? That would mean Saturday would be the soonest.
I'm gonna hold back from giving any timelines on any of these players, and I'll just let the transactions speak for themselves as we go forward with some of these COVID-related things.
Okay.
Is it too early to give injury updates with respect to Bobby Hart and others as well?
Yeah, I think that we got a lot of guys that'll work through the beginning of the week, and we'll get a better feel for the rat on Wednesday.
What was the single most important thing that you personally wanted to get accomplished over the bye?
Scheme evaluation. It's really a week 8 bye is a pretty good time to have it. You got half your season, behind you. You get a chance to reflect back tendencies you've created. So it's a good chance for our staff to go back and reflect on some things we've done well, some things we need to improve on, and just really study ourselves over the last 8 weeks.
Will what you see in practice from the offensive line this week determine who goes into or who starts on Sunday, or are there more other factors that you're looking at?
Yeah, there's a couple other factors, Charlie. We'll get through the health of a couple guys that missed last week and be able to balance all that stuff. So, again, we don't need to make that decision today or tomorrow. We get a chance to let these next 48, 36 hours play out. I got that totally backwards. 48, 72 hours play out before we have to make any of those decisions.
No, it's totally different from watching, all 22 and that type of film. But did you watch the Steelers yesterday?
I did. Yeah, that was the only game. I tried to take a break from football for the most part of the day, but you settle in, have dinner, and that game's on TV, so we watched it.
Do you cross-check, Zach, with your staff? Do you have the defensive staff evaluate the offense for tendencies and vice versa, or do you just do it with each side of the football themselves?
There's certainly a lot of conversation across the staff, and it's a time where you're not as urgent to get a game plan completed on a normal week, and so you get a chance to ask questions of the other side of the ball and make sure everything you're doing is sound, and what creates issues, what doesn't. Just kind of double check some things that you're doing.
Zach, in retrospect with what happened, how good is it, I guess, the protocols are in place that guys couldn't leave during the bye? I know it stunk for them, but the fact that this took place could have been worse maybe if they had gone away and come back.
Yeah, I think, those protocols are in place for a reason. Guys got to be able to test every single day, so they can't get on a plane, can't go anywhere. That part has been good. Our guys have done a really nice job so far. I think most teams have had some sort of issue in some way, shape, or form. And again, we just got to continue to be on top of this with our guys. They got to continue to be unselfish. And, so again, we'll just keep preaching that every day.
Any more questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, I'll jump in real quick. I know you don't read kind of the feeling from the fan base, maybe as well as people outside of the building do, but there seems to be a renewed excitement about the team, the way you played against Tennessee. I don't know if it's the bye week where people were just really excited, but you got half a season still in front of you now. Is there a renewed excitement within the building about what you guys can accomplish in the second half of the season after seeing how well you played against a good team?
I don't know that excitement's the word. It's confidence is the word I would describe our football team with right now. We've seen how we've prepared. We've felt confident going into these games. We've played well in spurts in a lot of the games we played. We just hadn't put it all together until the Tennessee game. So, we have to stay level-headed. We can't ride that wave of excitement and discouragement, and we just got to keep putting in the work and know that it'll pay off if we do it the right way.
Zac, when you looked at the scheme, when you evaluated it, what are some good or bad things that you saw? What kind of jumped out the most?
Well, those are things that we really would prefer to keep to ourselves, and some things that we can clean up, and some things that you've created some tendencies over 8 weeks that maybe people will start to catch on to, that you got to stay a step ahead. So again, just a good week where you can take your time, go through it the right way, not rush through it. We had plenty of time. You're not allowed to go anywhere, so you're here in town. And now guys are set up to where they can work from home, even on some days off. Everyone's got their system set up at home now because of what happened in the spring. So there's an efficient way to get a lot of good work done.
You said the team has confidence coming off a signature win. How big is that for an athlete when you're going up against, this week, the Steelers, considering the team hasn't beat Pittsburgh since 2015?
Yeah, I think this is a new year for us, so we can't worry about what's happened in the past with other teams that we play. This is a totally new football team that we have here. And again, it's just, I like where our team is headed, the work that they're putting in, the confidence they have in themselves and each other. They're really buying into the plan that's put in place of them and helping it come to life. And so, again, they're not afraid of anybody. We're going to go out there and put our best foot forward and feel confident that we can play with any team in this league.
What do you think the biggest difference is in Ben Roethlisberger now compared to what you've seen from him in previous years?
Still really good. I wouldn't say that there's a major difference that I see. He looks like the same Ben that has been playing for a long time, can make all the throws, does a good job checking them into different route concepts. So he's still one of the all-time great quarterbacks back there.
Coach, when you think of Minkah Fitzpatrick, they traded obviously to get him and to shore up the back of that defense. Talk about just the play that the level he plays at. I mean, he makes a lot of big plays for them. Yeah,
he makes a lot of game-changing plays. The ball always seems to find him, or he finds the ball, however you want to look at it. Plays really aggressive, just does a really good job of leading that defense. And they got a bunch of tremendous players on that side of the ball. But again, he fits what they want to do. He's made an impact really since the day they got him, if I remember correctly, when they acquired him last year. I think he had some turnovers the very first game he played. So he's just done a really nice job and complements that defense really well.
Thank you.
Zac, when you look at yourself as a play caller and kind of what the offense has done and the maturation of that offense throughout the year, how would you evaluate kind of the work you've done on that end? And are there some things that you've done that you feel like y'all can build on moving forward the rest of the season?
Well, our red zone scoring has got to continue to go up. We cannot settle for field goals. We get frustrated when we punt the football. And so, again, that's just taking the next step as an offense. The guys have a lot of confidence, and they get frustrated when we have to come off the field, And so I think just right now that those guys have put in the work. It's not just luck that's going out there and we're moving the football. It's because of a lot of things that the staff has really harped on over the last 6 months, taking place each and every week. and those players really buying in, seeing the success that comes from it, and then taking it to that next level. And again, we still have a long ways to go. We're not even close to being a great offense yet, but the guys are seeing the improvement because of the work that they're putting in, not just with the coaching staff, but just one-on-one with those guys, the extra work they put in during special teams periods after practice, meeting together. And so that part is really exciting for our staff to see these players take hold of that part of it and keep taking it up a notch.
Is this Pittsburgh defense maybe as complete a defense as you've seen? They have playmakers at every level, defensive line on the back end. They got some players at linebacker as well. I mean, seems like it's every position group has got something, doesn't it?
They're really good. And what stands out is just the experience that they have on that side of the ball playing together. You look at a lot of those guys that have been in that system for a really long time and played next to each other. And that shows up on the tape. And that's a lot of the reasons why they're having so much success.
Understanding that every Sunday in the NFL, Zach, is a challenge, and you guys approach every game with that kind of same mindset. But I do wonder if playing an undefeated rival this late in the season adds anything to what feels like a unique challenge for this team this week.
I don't think so. These divisional games are always big games, regardless of whether you're playing Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland. Our guys get ramped up. They want to go win these football games. We do understand, I understand that Pittsburgh is a monster game here in the city. I get it. We want to beat them as bad as we want to beat anybody else. But our focus does not change because of who we're playing. Our guys will be locked in and we expect to have a great week of practice. 2 more minutes for Coach.
Zach, I just want to make sure that I understand the COVID protocols. If Fred was asymptomatic,
yes,
is it possible for him to be back this week?
It's 10 days if you're asymptomatic from the time that you test positive. That's about as best as I can give you there.
Zach, I think going back to the offense a little bit, y'all have been, depending on what metric you pick, you guys have been the most effective offense in the league, going into the bye. Is that something that you take pride in when you look at some of the struggles that y'all have had over the, since 2019 and that carried over in this year? Are there other things, and then do you take pride in those metrics and the fact that it is looking kind of what you wanted to look like when you got here?
Well, it has been a lot of hard work. There's no, when you say that, Brian Callahan and I were just talking about last year, some of the struggles we faced this time last year, and a lot of them, it wasn't. We weren't able to put 20 points on the board. That was a challenge to be able to do that. And just rewatching these Pittsburgh games from last year, you remember some of those battles that we had. It was tough. And now it does feel differently. But again, it's just because, not because we've changed the approach by any means, but it's just now a year and a half of a lot of these guys being in the same system. The linemen particularly, some of the receivers, the backs, the quarterback obviously hasn't been here that long, but these guys have really bought in and just improved every single week. And so, again, that's why when things happen, we don't panic because we know that there's a process that you have to follow that pays off. Sometimes it doesn't happen as quickly as you want it to. But, again, we've got guys that are believing in the right things and putting in the right work. And so we're only going to continue to improve.
One last question for Coach. Anyone? All right, Coach, that looks like it's it. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.